Coach, first off, we found out earlier Kevin Rice is a Tewaaraton finalist. What kind of honor is that for him?
I think it's a great honor for him. You know, the way he's been playing this year, the way he's been playing the last few years, it's great that he's being recognized for this.
And now we know who you're playing on Sunday, as Marist pretty well handled Bryant last night. What did you see out of the Red Foxes that was impressive last night?
I thought they looked great. You know, I thought their attack was all terrific. They got a nice combination of players, somebody that distributes the ball pretty well, somebody that dodges, somebody that finishes. So they've got a three-headed monster there at the attack end of the field, and I think their midfield has been terrific this year. They're putting up a lot of points. So the 6 offensive players that they put out there, I think can play with a lot of people.
It sounded earlier this week the guys kind of wanted Bryant again. How different is it to see Marist?
It is. I think that, you know, walking off the field like we did last year after our last game, we wanted another chance to play Bryant, but this team beat Bryant, so we've got to be ready for that and we've got to be focused.
How hard is it to sit around all weekend? I know you guys are used to the Sunday night game, the opening weekend, but how hard is it on the guys with everybody else playing?
I think it's tough. I don't know if it's so much waiting as it is all the other things going on with graduation. You know, you've got 2 of the 3 starters graduating this weekend. Our whole first midfield's graduating. One of our close defensemen, our goalie, our pole. So a lot of guys that have, you know, that are going through graduation, which is great, but it's a distraction from the game, and it's a lot of emotion over a weekend.
Is there anything you told the guys to kind of, you know, obviously they want to enjoy that moment, but to make sure they're still focused on Marist kind of in the background?
Yeah, that's what we really talked about. I think, you know, last year I think they remember that, and they remember what happened, and this year just a brief conversation about it because I think it lingers from last year.
I know at this point in the year you're kind of used to what Ben does as a face-off specialist, but when you look back at this point in past years, going to the tournament, going to big games with maybe less certainty there, is there a moment where you thought in these couple days, like, wow, it's nice to not really have that thought?
Yeah, you know, we've kind of, like as you mentioned, taken him for granted a little right now, and you know, thank goodness he was as good as he was against Colgate. You know, to give us all those possessions in a 2-goal game. So it's great to have him out there, and now it's just a matter of planning, knowing, teaching him who he's going against, where to put our wings, and to be ready for any kind of ride after you know, after we come up with the ball.
I know Marist specialist is a little unorthodox. It gets really low. Have you gotten a chance to look at him?
Yeah, I watched him. I've watched him in a couple games. You know, I think he's pretty good. I think what really makes them very good on the face-off when they win are their wings. Mm-hmm. They're very athletic. They're aggressive. They try to check the ball out of people's sticks, and they're good ground ball people themselves. They look like they can test everything on the face-off.
Is there a unit that maybe remind you of that you guys have faced this year?
You know, I think maybe a little bit like Carolina, where they're so athletic on the wings, and their guy, you know, their guy won a few, you know, against us, but the ones we didn't, or he didn't win, that they went after us.
Sure.
John, how do you think the balance of this team compares to maybe since last time you guys won the championship 5 years ago?
I think it's really good balance. You know, we fought through a lot of things last year. We did go into the tournament number 2 last year, and you know, got upset in the first round. But you know, from one to the field, I think we share the ball pretty well. It's a good team defense, and I think the goalie's playing really well right now.
If there's a weakness you've got to stay away from, what would you put at the top of that list?
You know, I would say you know, turnovers. We got to take care of the ball ourselves. If we're fortunate enough to win face-offs and get possessions to our offense, the last thing we want to do is turn it over and give it back to the other team.
And after the Colgate game, you mentioned, you know, you brought Matt Lane in because you're thinking, I guess, at least a little bit about, you know, the guys you want to have prominent next year. Does that ever cross your mind, you know, in other games this year? Or got to think about the attack, got to think about the offense a little bit, since so many experienced guys on there.
Yeah, we, you know, I don't. We're not thinking a ton about next year right now. It's about, we got to win these games. You know, we can't experiment. You know, frankly, I think Henry Schoonmaker was a little beat up, and we ended up putting Matt Lane out there in the shooting position for him. He's the backup for him, and man up and in the zone offense.
You said Matt had done well in practice. Are there other guys you kind of point to that are, you know, playing really well and trying to make their name for themselves?
Yeah, I think you'll see more of you know, like Ryan Simmons out there. I think that you know, last week Colgate had gone man-to-man against the second midfield and zone against the first. Thought maybe we'd get a little more dodging from him, and maybe Matt Lane a little bit too, get some outside shooting from him, maybe a little bit more of a threat offensively.
You know, I know you guys obviously focused on the task at hand, focused on Marist, but, you know, what's the excitement of it? I mean, this tournament obviously is what you've been building towards since January, since even fall ball, really. Now it's here. What's the excitement level around the team?
Well, I think it's, you know, for Syracuse, I think we're used to having 2 seasons, and it's the regular season and it's the playoff season. So we've finished the regular season. The guys, I think, for, you know, total work, I think they've pretty happy with it, and I think they should be. And now we've got to put all that to use in the next season here. We want to play 4 games and try to win our last one.